Good morning and welcome to Money Truth Moments with our very own Money Whisper expert, Judy Copenbarger. How are you, Judy?
I'm doing so well. Carlos, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. I've been looking forward to this special edition of Money Truth Moments where we're going to talk about elections. We're going to talk about what's going on, and you're going to hit we're going to hit on a lot of great topics, a lot of great things on here that if you're just joining us for the very first time, welcome. And if you're not following Judy, please do so at judycopenbarger.com. We're going to talk about her website a little bit later on in the show. And if you are tuning in for the first time, please share it out with your friends and family. So make sure that they also get a chance to also watch some of what Judy shares usually on a weekly basis. So without further ado, November 8th, right? That's the magic date.
It's coming up. It is coming up. I'm excited.
It's exciting. It's weird also that it's just literally right around the corner. It almost seems like, we still have months to go on that, right? There's a lot of things going on in different counties. There's a lot of things going on in different cities, propositions, things for folks to vote on, people to get reelected or get them out of office. It's, in my mind, it's a mess, but let's bring it all, let's reel it all in, right? So
politics can get messy for sure.
Right? So let's start with, tell me your thoughts. What's your thoughts so far from what you've seen, right? What you've experienced out there?
With the politics or the elections or
everything with the election coming up.
Well, I think it's always an exciting time. It's such a neat time to have your voice heard. And some people say, well, I'm only one voice. I'm only one ballot. It really doesn't matter. But everybody's vote matters. Everybody's voice matters. And it's such a wonderful thing to be able to say, I don't like that idea. The politicians are trying to do that. I don't like that in my city. Oh, I don't like that, in Washington. Or to say, I really do like that. I want to support this person or this idea. I think that's a blast. And fall is amazing. Everything's kind of new. The winds come in. We had a big windy night the other night and our pool was all clean. Now it's not. But it's kind of like, that's kind of this change coming. This, the wind comes, the weather comes, everything's changing. The leaves are changing and falling. And it's just kind of that time of year where there's newness coming. And I think that's exciting. We can keep the stuff that we love, but it's a great opportunity to make change where it's needed. So yeah. I love election time. I think it's a powerful time. And for young people that haven't voted, man, go do it. It's just the coolest thing. You get your little sticker. I voted today, and now a lot of people vote by mail or they drop off. And so you can wear your sticker anyway. I just think it's just neat to be in a place where we do have a voice, because so many people around the world really don't have a lot that they get to say or share, or it's not even safe sometimes to share your opinion. And here we get to do that. And I love that. I love that. So just, kind of my outlook on it, I'm always looking kind of from an economic point of view, the money, how are we impacted with money? And of course, the words on everybody's lips are recession and inflation and tax. We need to talk about taxes a little bit, but those are the kind of the downside for most people. Those bring up negative feelings and upset, but we have an economy that's always in flux. It's kind of like the tide. It's never just right there like a lake, the ebb comes in, it flows, it ebbs, it flows. The tide is always moving. And so right now, if you just take a snapshot, the tide is out, right? And then it's going to come back in again. Always has, always will. And so it's interesting to me, economically or financially, people get so panicked about, it's not where I want it right now. It's going the way I don't want it to go. Right. And for some people, it's a good thing. What's happening right now depends on what your investments are. But, people get so upset and so concerned about, it's going to go, the tide's going to go out and never come back. Well, is that really going to happen? No, right. It's not going to happen. No, it might go out and ebb and flow out there, or it might come in and be high tide. But it's going to change. So that's kind of my little analogy for calm down. People get so excited and upset when things change because maybe it's not going to be a good change. Well, maybe it will. So everybody vote, keep your calm, and carry on, right? That's what they say in Britain. Keep calm and carry on.
So you talked about, when we're looking at elections, there's, I'm sure you've gone through this with many clients. There's people that, like you said, kind of panic. They go into this panic mode because of what's happening, right? What are some I guess best practices you can give folks, right? Because you're looking at this also from the financial perspective. I think it's also a lot of folks, because of that nervousness, tend to make the biggest mistakes during that time
Yeah.
because the sky is falling, and I need to do this, I need to do that, and it's when those mistakes can cost you quite a bit. So, talk to our audience a little bit about kind of changing that mindset. You talked a little bit about it now, but see if you can give us some additional tips as well too.
Yeah, I wish I could draw a picture here. I'll try to do it, with my sign language, but it's so interesting when we're talking about like traditional investments like stocks or bonds or mutual funds, like things that your 401k might be invested in. People, I will hear, not among my clients because they know better, but I will hear kind of the buzz out there. Oh my goodness, it's going down. It's going down. I don't want to lose what I have left, pull out and sell. It's like, well, now you're going to realize a loss. So we are an emotional market. And so what that means is people get excited about, let's buy some ABC stock. It's going really good. And now they have these widgets and they're selling those and everybody's getting in there. And I see the value of it going up. I better buy. Well, what's happened is it started low. It went up, 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 up. And as it went up, you're going to pay more. You're going to get less value. And when it gets way up, you go, oh, I'm so excited now. I'm going to buy while it's high because it's hot. And then, it peaks and then it's going to start coming down again in value. And you go, oh, it's slipping a little bit. I'll hang on. It's slipping a little bit more. Uh-oh. People are starting to sell. Now the value has gone down, 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 down. Uh-oh, I better bail out while I can. And then they sell it here. So they buy it here and they sell it here. And then the cycle completes. It starts going up again. And they're like, oh, it's starting to go up again. Let's wait a little while. Okay, now it's time. And then when it's up, they buy. Well, that's buying high and selling low. Why would you do that? Other than you don't know better and you're,
Right.
emotional about it. Why don't you buy low and sell high? And diversify while you're at it to, spread that risk or eliminate a lot of that risk. So those are things that people can do practically. And really what it's going to come down to in a time like this where the tide is out is just hold it. Just hold it. What you don't see, which is really cool, if you have mutual funds, if you have stocks, if you have these different investments where you have shares, you don't lose the shares when the dollar value goes down. So if you have a bank account, there's dollars. If you had 100 and now you have 80, it's like you really have lost 20. And that's what we know. We've all had savings and checking accounts. You have to, right, to live. But shares are different. A share, even though the value goes up and down of what the share is, the value is not the same. It changes every day, sometimes several times a day. So you still have your share. It's just either on sale or it is, the appreciation is there. It costs more today. Well, you don't buy when it costs more, right? You go to the store, you don't buy butter when it's $3 a pound. You buy it when it's $1 a pound. And so if it's 80 cents a pound, let's go buy more, right? That's how we want to think about shares. Shares are different than dollars. And I think that's one big distinction that can really help people understand why they haven't lost a whole bunch of money. Don't panic. You still have your shares and they will come back up in value. They will. So I hope that helps.
No, it absolutely does. I think it's also, as I think you hit it on the nose on there. Sometimes we get too emotionally attached to certain things, or because we don't understand. And I think just not only in finance, but I think if we take the emotion out of different elements of our lives and what we experience, we can see things a little bit clearer sometimes. But it takes someone like you to kind of reel us back in, when all of this is going down as well too. Which kind of leads me a little bit into the segue where during election time, sometimes we talk about or we see proposals to increase a tax, right, for city revenue. Sometimes we see a tax for X, Y, and Z because we need it, right? And then the moment you hear that T word, it's like, oh no, nope, no, it's not going to happen, right? Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. So there is a tax in the city. Let's just say it's a 1 cent tax on every dollar, right? So immediately you're gonna, again, it's the emotion part of it. You heard the word tax, I immediately gonna say no. I don't care what it is, what you
Mhm.
do, and all of that. I think it's also, and I'm sure you've seen this as well too, that people just need to get that emotion, leave the emotion. What are some pluses? Sometimes, there's good and bad, right? So I know in California, for example, for all of us, we get taxed. I'm surprised we're not even getting taxed on air that we breathe, right? Because everything has a tax on it.
It's coming.
Yeah, exactly, right.
Yeah.
But to my point is also tax is not always a bad thing, and I like to get your perspective on that as well too.
Yeah, that's my attitude totally. It's not always a bad thing. Now, they are necessary, and every one of us has probably 100 taxes that impact us in a given week or year. And usually you say tax, you think income tax, what's missing from my paycheck that the government takes. But there's all kinds of excise tax, sales tax, almost everything, luxury tax, everything that you buy, everything that you see probably has a tax associated with it. And it's kind of a joke, air and sunshine, but it's coming. They're going to find a way that if you want that and you want it to be clean, that's going to cost you. So it's just a matter of how the money's allocated. So usually we have that kind of gut feeling like, I don't like tax. I don't like to pay it. It's like I'm losing something. But if you think about where we really usually disagree, it's on how the money that is gathered is spent, how it's allocated.
Correct.
Well, I want the pothole fixed, but I don't want a brand new street. I want, I want that building to be, cleaned up, but I don't want to have to buy it. I don't want all the money to go to some big luxury thing that's going to benefit the people and government or whatever. Right. So it's usually how it's allocated or how much is allocated toward different ideas. So you've got to have tax. You've got to have it for infrastructure, for streets, public safety, all that money. We pull it together so we can really have this great quality of life. Things like, schools and sidewalks and all the services for people, more and more important. Trash pickup. You go to other countries and it doesn't take long to go, oh, it's different here.
Right.
When you see the dumps and the garbage along the streets and they just burn it when it gets too high and then they pile it up again. Most of the world doesn't have this wonderful clean place to stay. And I know it's tricky right now because we've seen changes in the last few years with the homelessness and more things on the street, more things we really don't want to see. People that really need help and aren't living, the Orange County, Newport Beach life, right? Or the New York, Manhattan life. Um, it's a little tricky right now to keep that perspective. But we've got it really good here. And we have it really good here because the infrastructure is there and the tax is allocated to keep us safe and keep things clean. We don't have to worry about water or mosquito nets or getting good food, access to those kind of things for most of us in this country. And charities can help the ones that do have hard, difficulty with access. So it's a really great place to live. And part of the reason is our infrastructure is there and it needs to be maintained. So one thing coming up in elections, a lot of municipalities, a lot of states, even, at every level of government, they're starting to rebuild and think about infrastructure. It's been decades since we fixed the bridges, we fixed the roads, since we allocated for some of these federal buildings or state buildings or even city things. They need maintenance. We've got to update the electricity, wiring. We've got to, put in the new pipes. The old clay pipes aren't cutting it anymore.
Right.
The water fountains aren't working. They should work. So things like that, it takes money to do that. And the money comes from our pooling of tax. So when you see a tax that is new or, that you don't agree with, I wouldn't want you to always have the attitude, no, it's bad. But you want to look behind it. Who's going to allocate it? How are they going to choose to use those dollars? Is it really in my best interest and the interest of my community to have that? And it might be building something new. It might be updating something. A lot of the world is getting ready for the green stuff. This new way of using energy and creating food and all of that. We're kind of in transition here, and that can be very political. Whatever you agree with. Some people like change more than others, and so it's how that's allocated where we might disagree. But I don't think we should all just poo-poo any new tax. I think we really need to look at what's it for, how long is it for. Sometimes taxes are not forever. You mentioned this 1% tax. It's probably for some updating somewhere, right, in one of the cities. And so if it's for updating, do we need that forever? Or is this a tax that can just be pulled for a couple years, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and then it can fade away? And a lot of bridges and roads are actually made that way. They're made with a toll, a temporary toll. And then once it's all paid for and maintained, then the toll can go away. And now it's just, an asset of the community. So that's just kind of my perspective on that. It's not just, no, I hate it. It's like, what's it for and how is it really going to help me? I think we need to kind of look at both sides there.
I think it's a good transition to talk about also how do you prepare yourself for, and not necessarily for tax, but we are living in heavy inflation times as well too. So I think one of the you've discussed this before, but I think it's a good tie-in to say to look at it's that roller coaster, right? We're up and we're
Mhm.
down, we're up and we're
Mhm.
down. So as you potentially quote unquote look at a recession or you look at harder times, right, for families and things, what are some key things that we should be noticing, we should be preparing for in case this does happen? Because a lot of people wait to the last minute anyway, and
Yeah.
then they're scrambling. And again, that's where mistakes happen because you didn't plan for it.
Yeah. They end up, borrowing from the 401ks to buy groceries. That's not what it's for. I mean, you got to survive. Sometimes you have to do what you have to do.
Right.
If you have a fire, you have to rebuild, right? You need a place to live. So, I think that the biggest advice that I could, put out there is advice that I would have, whether the tide's in or the tide's out, all the time. Have appropriate savings. You should be every month when you have your bills, when you have your housing bill and your cell phone bill and your cable bill and your gas bill and your phone, all the stuff that you pay for every month. One or two of those items ought to be you. You know, what if when you had your bills and you look at where your dollars go, there's a portion that is for your goals, maybe an upcoming holiday or a special occasion, anniversary, birthday, those things where it's just, if that's the month that happens, it's like, uh-oh, how are we going to pay the rent? Right.
Right.
It's just every month pay yourself for those goals. And then also every month pay yourself for the long term. And that might be putting money in an IRA, or if you have a retirement program at work, something for your future. So you don't end up at 60, 65, 70, 75, 80 having to work, you know? There's got to be a way, and the way is to pay yourself every month just like you're paying everybody else and make that a habit. So it's easier said than done if you don't have that habit because you're like, well, already I don't have enough money and now this inflation is eating up what was left. Where's it going to come from, Judy?
Right.
And it's just a matter of really three things. If you have more month than money, then you need to do one of three things. Either make more, right? Maybe there's a side hustle, maybe there's some, a business, maybe you can get a raise, maybe, if somebody's in the household's not working, they go to work, something to get more money. The second thing is spend less. What can we cut back on? Do we really need all those cable channels? Maybe. Do we really need all those subscriptions? Maybe. Do we really need to spend that much on food or going out or golfing or whatever it is? Can we watch Netflix one night instead of going to the movies and save $50? Maybe. So just looking at how I could spend less. And then the third thing is sell something. Earn more, spend less, sell something. That's it. Or a combination of those three. That's how you make the ends meet. And so sell something might be as simple as clean out your closet, clean out your garage, get rid of all that stuff, sell the extra car. Maybe you really could do without it for a while. Maybe move, right? Downsize. And some people at certain points in life, that's a big one. But there's stuff that you have that is junk that other people would really like to pay for. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
eBay, all of these. There are even companies, kind of like the FedEx store, the mailbox store that they have in all these shopping centers, where you go in there and they take pictures of your stuff and put it on and sell it. Your old purse, your shoes, the boots, old piano music, whatever it is, lamps. Um, Crazy, crazy, crazy what people will pay because what you wanted at one point, maybe you don't now, somebody else is looking for. So it could be really simple. It could be, if you're really good at art, sell art. If you like woodwork, sell that. There are things that you can do to sell. And all these young people have figured out how to make money online. It just is so exciting. I love entrepreneurs. And they
Mhm.
figured out how not only to make their own stuff and put it out on Etsy or all these stores, online stores where people shop now, but they can even buy wholesale over here, set up a store and sell at retail here. And they watch their phone and it goes ping, 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 ping. People buying their stuff, and that's income. They're selling something, and they didn't even have to touch it or pack it or ship it or anything. Really cool. So that's it. Whatever you can do at your place. If it's a little tight, and it might be tighter than it was, you either, make more, spend less, or sell something. That's it. Keep your savings up. Pay yourself. You should always have savings up. And you know what came out of this COVID period of time that we've had is people thought, things have changed. We had the whole toilet paper thing, and then the whole baby formula thing, and all of these shortages and all of this. Uh-oh, I can't get bread, I can't get eggs, I can't get canned, spaghetti sauce, whatever. And people started thinking, I need to prepare better. I need to have something in my pantry. I need to save. I need to have money available. I need to have a stock available of paper goods and food and things like that, because I might not be able to go get what I need every day on the way home from work at the market.
Yeah.
And that gets people thinking more about this preparation, not panic and Armageddon and, build a bunker. I mean, some people do that too, but just regular people just preparing for the next day, week. What if the power goes out? We just had that happen here. Are you ready? Do you have your flashlights and your candles and whatever it is you need to be able to feed your family and have clean water and things like that? Are you ready? Now, it doesn't mean it's the big one, where we have to prepare for months and months, like hurricanes. Those people are going to be out for months, and that
Right.
happens temporarily. But for regular people, just to have, some preparation and take time thinking about tomorrow, just a little bit, I think is wise. And it's not just a financial thing, it's a life thing, just being ready.
And I think that's a very powerful statement that should make people think is, are you ready? Right? Are you ready financially? Are you ready for everyday life? Are you ready to tackle the day? It's a very powerful statement. I'm glad you're bringing that up, because folks, as you join us for the first time, welcome. But it's powerful, because now I'm thinking, all right, you talked about the big one, you talked about this, and like, well, I need to do this, I need to do that. So am I ready? No. So I got to get my butt going to get ready. Now, a lot of folks are the same way. Sometimes you just need that immediate reminder of how we're going to move forward. We're not, caught by surprise, or we're not prepared. And folks, if you're just joining us now, welcome. We're almost to the end of the show. We've been discussing a very special topic today on elections. We've covered everything from taxation to how to prepare yourself for inflation stuff, making sure that you get out there and vote as well. I want to take just a quick moment to talk about your website, judycopenbarger.com. Want to share with folks what they can find there?
Of course, yeah. Part of being ready is educating yourself. And, there are things about preparing, different ways to prepare your kids for college, for your retirement planning, for, the important goals that you have, the milestones that you have that you want to celebrate in your life. Even, preparing for the next car. Do we just wait until our car not crashes, but, can't go anymore, and then go get another one? Or do we like to have a new car every couple of years? And some people, because of their profession, that's an important tool for them. You've got to have a truck that works if you're a contractor. You've got to have a nice car that a lot of people can sit in if you're a realtor. You're going to show houses, right? So your vehicle can be a tool, and you can either wait until it's time and then, now I got to pay 30, 40, 50, 80,000 for this new car. Or you can be paying yourself every month a little bit toward the car you're going to have, and then you have a nice down payment or pay cash for the next car. And that's just that preparing. So those are things you can do on judycopenbarger.com, the website. We have all kinds of practical ideas like that for you. And most of them are coming from 40 years worth of clients. What really worked for them? What mistakes have they made? Real life stories. What did they do that kind of blew up on them? How did they reboot, rebuild, reimagine? How did they get back into the saddle? And there are all kinds of stories about that there at judycopenbarger.com. You can access not only the link to the book, Money, Truth, and Life there. If you want to read, it's a great resource book with all these stories in it. Covers all the 5 pillars of finance. And this is personal finance, small business, small ministry. And so it's going to be the cash flows, cash reserves, investments. And investments can be your business interest. It could be your real estate. And then the traditional investments you think about, stocks and bonds, commercial paper, mutual funds, 401ks, IRAs. What are those? 403b, 457. How do I use them? How can they benefit me? And should I be doing it at all? And you'll be able to answer those questions for you and your family at your house when you know enough to know the questions to ask. And so all of that is there for you. The Money, Truth, and Life Online Mastery Program is accessible through judycopenbarger.com. There's a little green button there, and it says, go to Money, Truth, and Life. And all of these courses are there. Each course, based on a pillar of finance, has several classes in it. And you can go take one class or several classes if you want to learn about wills or trusts or life insurance or professional insurance for your business, tort liability insurance. If you want to learn about those kind of things and just get enough vocabulary and knowledge to know what you need or what you should avoid, that's where you can do it. So go there, judycopenbarger.com, Money, Truth, and Life Online Mastery Program. You can go on Amazon or Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, Target, anywhere bestsellers are sold. Money, Truth, and Life is a bestseller, so you can access it there. Pick it up, put it on your shelf, read it. It's something that you want to read every couple of years, I would say, and share it with young people in your life too, because you're doing different things. You have different assets. You're a different place in life. Your family is, growing, or, maybe they're leaving the nest. And so what your choices are financially, they're all going to be different, and different things you're focusing on. So that's a book you want to kind of reread and keep handy for you.
Excellent. And folks, again, thank you for joining us. If you're not following Judy, do so at judycopenbarger.com. And we're coming to the tail end of our show, and you know what that means. It's our Money Truth Challenge. And today, because it is a special show, I can't wait to hear what you have for us on the challenge.
Today, it's going to be powerful and simple at the same time. Usually I have a 3-part challenge because I want our time to be well spent together, where you learn something and you actually implement it, you apply it, you share it with someone, or you do something that makes your financial situation better and the journey easier. Today, it's very simple. Number 1, pen and paper, right? Write this down, is to vote. Get that sticker, the I voted sticker. Make your voice count. Take the time to read through the options that you have in your community. There might be things in your state you can vote for, things in your city, your municipality you can vote for or against. And do a little research. At least read, what they've mailed to you, a paragraph or two about what it does, how much it costs, things like that. At least do that. If you haven't been involved in politics, you don't really like it, do that. So you got to vote. You got to vote. The second thing is, if you're writing it down, get other people to vote too. Take your friend with you. Take your family members with you. Fill out your ballot. Go down, drop it off yourself. I prefer that than mailing in, because you don't know what the mail's going to do. Or go down on voting day and then go out to coffee or brunch and make it a day of it. If you don't have to work that day, celebrate the freedom that you have to go vote. It's huge. And maybe even watch some of the returns come in where you live. So that can be really, really neat thing to do. Number 3, vote. If you didn't get it the first time, I want everybody to vote, whether you agree with what I agree with or not, whether you're very involved or not involved at all. Make your voice count. If you don't, it's really not fair for you to complain or whine or worry about the tide being out. You got to be part of it. And the voting that we do not only shapes our economy, it shapes everything about the quality of life that we have and the future that we're creating for our kids. So whatever your values are, whatever your opinions are, whatever you believe in or don't believe in, this is your chance to have an impact with your opinion. So vote, get someone else to vote, and in case you didn't hear it, vote. That's my challenge for this week.
So what you're saying is I should vote, right? I'm kidding.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
All right.
Yeah.
Folks, we are at the end of our show. Thank you for joining us today. Please watch the beginning of the show and also watch other episodes as well, too. Make sure you follow Judy at judycopenbarger.com. There's a lot of wealth of information there. Her YouTube channel has great video and content for a lot of the questions you may have. And I'm going to share with you just a little bit that it's free for the most part, folks. So take advantage of it, right? You have nothing but time and opportunities to learn, so you are never caught unprepared. Judy, as always, thank you. Any last parting words?
Well, don't forget to vote. But I'd say really, take to heart, what we talked about when it comes to preparation. I think that's the one thing people can do. If they feel kind of like stuff's coming at them and they're like a victim in this or just kind of going with the flow, prepare yourself. There are things that you can do.
Excellent. Folks, remember, we're here every Tuesday morning at 8 o'clock. Replay is on Thursdays at 8 o'clock as well, too. So we hope you guys catch the show and share out the stream with your friends. Until next week, Judy, have a great week.
You as well. Thank you.